Have you ever thought about what it really means to live fully after 70? I used to believe that growing older meant slowing down, stepping aside, and accepting a quieter life. But I've learned something very different. Life after 70 is not about fading away. It's about stepping into a new kind of freedom. It's about releasing the things that have weighed us down for decades and finally living with clarity, peace, and purpose. In this video, I want to share with you 11 powerful things I let go of after turning 70. These were not easy changes, but they were necessary, and each one opened the door to a deeper, richer kind of happiness. If you stay with me until the end, you might just find the inspiration you need to create the most meaningful chapter of your life yet. Let's begin this journey together because the truth is, the best years of your life might still be ahead. 1. Letting go of living to please others. For most of my life, I thought that putting others first was the right thing to do. I believed that sacrificing my own needs made me a better person, a more lovable one. So I said yes when I wanted to say no. I showed up when I was exhausted. I gave and gave until there was nothing left for myself. It took me a long time to understand that living to please others is not the same as living a good life. In fact, it often means living someone else's version of your life instead of your own. Turning 70 taught me that my time is precious, and so is my energy. I realized that the people who truly care about me would never ask me to shrink myself just to make them comfortable. Letting go of the need to please everyone wasn't easy at first. There were moments of guilt and doubt. But with each honest no, I made space for a more authentic yes. I said yes to quiet mornings, to books that moved me, to slow walks that nourished my spirit. I said yes to the life I had been too busy to notice. When you stop living for the approval of others, you start living for yourself. And that is when life really begins. So let me ask you, when was the last time you chose yourself without feeling guilty? What might your days look like if you lived not to meet expectations, but to fulfill your soul? 2. Letting go of busyness without purpose. For so many years, I wore busyness like a badge of honor. My calendar was packed, my days were rushed, and my nights were restless. I told myself that being busy meant I was important, successful, needed. But deep down, I often felt empty, like I was running in circles without ever really arriving anywhere. I was working, organizing, volunteering, attending every event, but I wasn't truly living. After I turned 70, I realized something that changed everything. Being busy is not the same as being fulfilled. Busyness without purpose is just noise, a distraction from what really matters. I started asking myself hard questions. Why am I doing this? Who is it for? Does it align with the life I want to create? If the answer wasn't clear, I gave myself permission to step away. In the quiet that followed, I rediscovered joys I had long forgotten. Sitting by the window with a good book, planting flowers and watching them bloom, sharing slow, meaningful conversations with people I love. Busyness had kept me from these simple treasures for far too long. Letting go of the need to be constantly busy opened up a life that feels more intentional, more peaceful, and much more connected to who I really am. So ask yourself, are you filling your schedule or filling your soul? Imagine how different your life might feel if every hour you spent was a choice, not a habit. 3. Letting go of the need to control everything. I used to think that if I planned enough, prepared enough, worried enough, I could somehow control the outcome of everything around me. I tried to control my family's choices, my future, even the small details of daily life. It was exhausting. And it never really worked. Life, with all its twists and turns, rarely follows our carefully laid plans. Reaching 70 taught me a lesson I wish I had learned much earlier. Control is an illusion. No matter how tightly we hold on, life will unfold in its own way. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, when I finally loosened my grip, I discovered a kind of peace I had never known before. I learned to trust that not everything needed my interference. I learned to breathe through uncertainty instead of fighting it. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up. It means showing up with open hands instead of clenched fists. It means meeting life where it is, not where we think it should be. It means having the courage to move forward even when the path isn't clear. So today, I invite you to ask yourself, what are you trying so hard to control? And what might happen if you finally let it be? You might just find that the life you've been trying to force is nothing compared to the life that's waiting for you. Fourth, letting go of unhealthy relationships. For years, I held on to relationships that weighed me down. Some were built on obligation, others on old memories that no longer felt true. I stayed connected out of habit, out of fear, out of guilt. I told myself that loyalty meant staying, even when the connection turned cold, even when the relationship chipped away at my peace. But one day, after turning 70, I asked myself a simple question. Does this relationship make me feel seen, valued, and loved? If the answer was no, I knew it was time to let go. Walking away wasn't easy. It never is. There were moments of doubt, moments when I questioned whether I was being selfish, but deep inside, I understood something powerful. Protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. Choosing the people who fill your life with encouragement, kindness, and understanding is one of the greatest acts of self-love. Since letting go of unhealthy relationships, my world has become lighter, calmer, and more joyful. I now spend my time with people who truly care, who listen without judgment, who celebrate my journey instead of competing with it. Think about the people in your life. Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they nourishing your soul or draining your spirit? You deserve to be surrounded by relationships that feel like sunlight, not storms. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is simply walk away. 5. Letting go of old grudges. For a long time, I thought holding on to anger protected me. I believed that if I stayed upset, I could somehow keep from being hurt again. So I held on to old arguments, past betrayals, words that were never apologized for. I let those wounds take up space in my mind and in my heart, replaying them like old songs I didn't even like. But as the years passed, I realized something simple, but life-changing. Carrying grudges did not hurt the people who wronged me. It only hurt me. It kept me tied to moments I desperately wanted to move beyond. It weighed me down in ways I didn't even see until I finally started letting go. Forgiveness doesn't mean pretending the hurt never happened. It doesn't mean inviting someone back into your life. Forgiveness means deciding that your peace is more important than your pain. It means setting yourself free. When I began forgiving, truly forgiving, I noticed a shift. The weight I didn't even realize I was carrying started to lift. My days felt lighter. My heart felt stronger. I had more space inside myself for joy, gratitude, and love. What are you still holding on to? Is it really worth the space it takes in your heart? Imagine how free you might feel if you finally set that burden down. Forgiveness is not something you give to others. It's the greatest gift you give to yourself. 6. Letting go of fear of change. For much of my life, change terrified me. Even small changes would rattle me. I clung to familiar routines, familiar places, familiar people, even when they no longer made me happy. I told myself that what was known was safe. But in truth, I was only making myself smaller. When I turned 70, I began to see change differently. I realized that life itself is change. Every season, every sunrise, every breath we take is part of life's constant unfolding. Fighting change wasn't protecting me. It was holding me back from the new experiences, new joys, and new lessons waiting just beyond my comfort zone. So I made a decision. Instead of fearing change, I would start welcoming it. I would greet the unknown with curiosity instead of resistance. I would trust that even when the ground shifted beneath me, I could find my balance again. Since then, my world has expanded in ways I never expected. I tried painting for the first time. I moved to a quieter town where I didn't know anyone and built new friendships. I opened my heart to new rhythms, new adventures, new dreams. Change is not the enemy. It is life's way of inviting us to grow, to evolve, to begin again. What changes have you been resisting? What might happen if you stopped clinging to the way things were and opened yourself to the way things could be? Remember, you are never too old to bloom in new ways. 7th, letting go of procrastination on personal goals. When I was younger, I believed there would always be more time. I told myself I would travel later, write that book later, learn to play the piano later. Later became my favorite excuse. But the truth is, later is a lie we tell ourselves to feel safe. Later is never guaranteed. Turning 70 forced me to confront this hard truth. If not now, when? If not today, then how many dreams would be left behind, unlived and unloved? I decided it was time to stop waiting for the perfect moment. I booked the trip. I bought the canvas and paints. I signed up for the class. Was I nervous? Absolutely. Was I perfect? Not even close. But I was finally alive in a way I hadn't been in years. Taking that first step, however small, created a ripple effect. Every day I chose action over hesitation. My confidence grew. My world became bigger, brighter, more full of possibilities I had once tucked away on a dusty shelf called someday. Is there a dream you have quietly placed on hold, waiting for a better time? I am here to tell you, there is no better time than now. Your dreams deserve more than your leftover time. They deserve your best time. They deserve to be lived. What's one small step you could take today toward a dream that's been waiting patiently for you? 8. Letting go of material attachments. For much of my life, I believed that having more meant living better. A bigger house, newer clothes, more gadgets. They all promised happiness. And for a while, they did bring excitement. But it never lasted. After a few days, sometimes even a few hours, the joy faded and the emptiness returned. It wasn't until I began simplifying my life that I realized how heavy all that stuff had become. Every object I owned carried a tiny burden. The need to maintain it, protect it, organize it, worry about it. Little by little, all those burdens added up. Letting go of material things was one of the most freeing choices I ever made. I started small. I gave away clothes I hadn't worn in years. I donated books I had no intention of reading again. I sold furniture that no longer fit the life I wanted to live. With each item that left, I felt lighter, clearer, more at peace. Now, I focus on collecting moments, not things. Sunsets shared with friends, quiet mornings with a cup of tea, laughter with family around a dinner table. These are the treasures that fill my heart, and they take up no space at all. Think about the things you surround yourself with. Do they truly bring you joy, or are they just filling the silence? What would it feel like to make room for more life and less stuff? Sometimes, the more you let go, the more you realize you never needed it in the first place. 9. Letting go of neglecting your health. For so many years, my body was just an afterthought. I pushed through exhaustion, shrugged off warning signs, treated rest like a luxury I couldn't afford. There was always something more urgent. A meeting, a favor for a friend, an endless to-do list. I told myself, I'll take care of myself later. But later never came. It wasn't until I turned 70 that I finally stopped to listen. I heard the whispers I had ignored for decades. The stiffness in my joints, the heaviness in my chest, the quiet ache in my bones that no longer disappeared overnight. My body wasn't punishing me. It was pleading with me. And for the first time, I answered. I didn't make grand, sweeping changes. I began with the simplest acts of love. A slow walk in the morning air when the world was still soft and quiet. A plate full of real, colorful food that actually nourished me. I started drinking water as if it were medicine. I learned to breathe deeply, to stretch slowly, to sleep without guilt. At first it felt strange, almost selfish, to put myself first, but slowly I noticed the difference. Morning stopped feeling like a battle. My mind, once clouded and tired, felt clear, alert, alive. Even my heart, burdened for so long with stress and regret, felt a little lighter. Taking care of your health isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. It's about waking up and knowing you have the energy to chase a dream, to dance to your favorite song, to laugh so hard your sides ache. So let me ask you, when was the last time you thanked your body for carrying you through every joy, every heartbreak, every single day? What if today you made one small promise to yourself, not to be perfect, not to be rigid, but simply to listen, to nourish, to care? Your future self is waiting, and they are hoping you'll start today. 10th, letting go of sleepless nights of worry. There were nights I lay awake staring at the ceiling, my mind spinning faster than the clock ticking beside me. I worried about things that had already happened. I worried about things that might never happen. I replayed old conversations, imagined worst-case scenarios, carried tomorrow's burdens on my shoulders today. Sleep wasn't rest anymore. It was a battlefield. And yet, as I grew older, something shifted. I realized that all the worry in the world had never fixed a single thing. It had only stolen my peace, my energy, my precious hours of life. Worry didn't prepare me for the future. It robbed me of the present. So I began practicing the art of release. Before bed, I would sit quietly and breathe. I would write down everything that was swirling in my mind. Every fear, every unfinished task, every what if. I gave them a place to live outside of me, so I could let them go for the night. Sometimes I whispered a simple prayer. I've done what I can today. The rest is not mine to carry. Little by little, the nights became gentler. Sleep returned like a long-lost friend, and with it came something even more precious, the ability to wake up renewed, ready to meet the day with open hands and a steady heart. If worry is stealing your nights, ask yourself, will this matter 5 years from now, even 1 year, even next month? What would it feel like to trust life a little more and to trust yourself a little deeper? You deserve to rest. You deserve to wake up free. And you deserve to remember that most of the things we lose sleep over are not as powerful as the peace we can choose instead. 11th, letting go of comparing yourself to others. For too many years, I measured my life by someone else's ruler. I compared my journey to theirs, their achievements, their families, their homes, even their happiness. I thought if I could just catch up, if I could just match their pace, maybe I would finally feel enough. But comparison is a thief. It sneaks into the quiet corners of your heart and whispers, you're behind, you're lacking, you're less. It makes you forget the beauty of your own path, the uniqueness of your own story. When I reached 70, I saw it clearly. No two lives are the same. We are not meant to walk identical roads. Some lives bloom early, some bloom late. Some stories twist and turn in ways we never expect. But every life, including yours and mine, is a masterpiece when seen through the right eyes. Letting go of comparison set me free. It allowed me to celebrate others without questioning my own worth. It gave me permission to be proud of my quiet victories, my unseen milestones, my small but sacred joys. Now, when I see someone succeeding, I smile and cheer for them, and then I turn back to my own path, grateful, steady, and at peace. So let me ask you, how much of your happiness has been lost to measuring yourself against someone else? What would happen if you chose, right now, to believe that your story is exactly as it should be? You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time for your own beautiful life. And there is no one you need to keep up with, but the person you are becoming. As you sit here now listening to these final words, I hope you feel it, that quiet stirring inside you, that whisper that says, there is still more for me. Letting go is not about loss. It's about making room for peace, for purpose, for the life you still have the power to create. Every habit you release, every burden you set down, every dream you finally say yes to, it all brings you closer to the person you were always meant to be. Life after 70 is not a slow fade into the background. It's a sunrise, a fresh beginning, a chance to live with more intention, more depth, more love than ever before. The best part? You don't have to become someone new. You simply have to return to who you've always been, underneath the noise, the fear, the expectations. So take a deep breath. Feel the weight lifting. Feel the space opening. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are right on time for your own beautiful, messy, magnificent life. And as you step into this next chapter, I hope you carry this truth with you. The best is not behind you. The best is within you. And the best is still ahead. If this message spoke to your heart today, I invite you to share it. Leave a comment below and tell me, what are you ready to let go of? And what beautiful life are you ready to step into? I would love to walk this journey with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing yourself. And remember, every day is a new beginning if you're brave enough to let it be.